Welcome, everybody. We're back with the rewatch. We're on the final section of episode 6. Um, we got some pretty bad stuff coming up. And unfortunately, because of scheduling issues, at least I'm doing this sober. I don't know about you guys. I'm really hungover, and this is too early in the day to start drinking. Like, I know I'm a lush, but I do have some standards. Pips, Alex?
I apparently do not have standards. I'm drinking straight rye bourbon. Uh,
My man,
I guess
my
it's not
horse.
straight rye. It is a bourbon, so 51% corn or better. But it's a rye heavy mash, and it's pretty tasty.
Nice. Now, Alex, you're also further east than I am, so I guess it could be respectable if it's afternoon for you.
Yeah, I'm in Central Time this week, but yeah, I'm not drinking alcohol, so I'm sticking to Miller Lite.
And our
uh,
special guest this week, I'm so stoked. We got Zaxx, another Canadian. You don't know how much I've had to suffer these two guys, a lot of it behind the scenes. So finally, I got reinforcements. But Zaxx, welcome to the rewatch. Two obligatory questions. The first one is, what are you drinking if you're drinking?
Mhm.
And the second one is connection to Wheel of Time. Let us know.
I am drinking a stout. Called a stir stick stout, and it's got a coffee and chocolate flavor to it. It's very dark. It's by Pints here. It's a local company, craft brewing, because I'm that cool.
All right. So fantastic. This is the final third of episode 6. There might be a natural break midway through this, but we'll play it by ear, kind of see how much time we take to get through it. But there's a heck of a lot of crap. We just got past the man in North Harbor scene, the muff diving joke. Like, this is filled with muff diving. Um, and I think we're on our way to see Loyal. So unless someone has a comment about this hallway, let's meet our friend the Ogier again.
Let's do it.
Glory to the builders.
Oh God.
all
Moon
right,
boots.
Alex. I think you said you wanted to say something, and I got something, and then yeah, moon boots.
I guess I had two things. I guess the first of which is, how come nobody in this show is ever doing anything when somebody comes to see them? Like a loyal is literally just standing there staring at a wall like a fucking idiot. And then, is this supposed to be his room? Like, did she just barge into his room? Like, I respect you so much as I invade your privacy. Like,
I think he was
why do we
summoned
do this?
here, but why would you get summoned to a meeting room all the way up the tower and then where the melting of the ring happened in the last episode?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
This
cleared
is,
out the forge.
yeah.
Wh- What I
It
thought,
seems
what I thought about this scene was, okay, so he's coming to this building to meet her. He was brought all the way up to this room, and then he was told, you know what, we still need your kind to wait outside, and so we put him out on the balcony.
and,
Your
and
kind is better not seen nor heard. So if you
Yeah,
could just stand in this sort of alcove, we'll come by when we're ready for you.
now is
we would.
Moraine trying to be sneaky and being like, better not let anyone else know what my plans are, and therefore no one can see him?
I mean,
Or
having him walk all the way up to like fairly high in the tower is probably a bad place to have your surreptitious kind of meeting.
especially in those boots, man. What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
All right,
I
Pips,
was
you had
just gonna
something to say
say,
here?
yeah, I was just gonna say that her facial expression when she walks in, she just has like a stunned, kind of shocked look on her face, and then is like, glory to the builders. It's like even she walked in and she's like, that is the ugliest Ogier I've ever seen in my entire life.
So every actor who has a scene with Loyal is basically, I can't believe this is happening.
Yes.
Like, honest to God, if you just put this picture up like on the internet with no context, I legitimately think half the people on the internet would think this is racist. Like, this is just like a horrible characterization of
Mm,
black people. Like,
yeah,
Oh
you're.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let,
if you put this still out there, for sure, that's what people would think. He looks ridiculous.
It
let,
does bring to mind the kind of like think one of our previous guests, I think Lady Balefire, brought up like there's a couple like minstrel show sort of jokes that like make their way into Rafe Judkins' Wheel of Time, and the idea that the black actor gets like covered with a ton of makeup and made to look absolutely ridiculous, and then has like no reason for being in any scene that he's in, and is just ignored by the other characters. It's like, really, what are we doing? Like, why would
Speaking
you
of no
do
reason
that?
for existing, like we as book readers know what's going on, right? Moraine
Yeah.
is planning to go through the ways, and then what we end up seeing later, where it's like Moraine needs to channel to open the ways. So why the fuck did you need Loyal?
Right.
Anyway,
No reason.
we're so we know why this scene is here is because it's kind of sort of part of the narrative story, but it doesn't make sense for what they establish later about how the ways actually operate. And if you say, "Oh, he's there to guide them along," I'm like, "What guiding? There's one path in those ways." But
Yeah,
I'm
which is a
raging
good
about
point for
future
the
stuff. So
entire series, really. I mean, like Loyal has an amazing like story within it, and he's a very popular character. And there's kind of the theory about him being, Robert Jordan's sort of avatar in the story. Um, but throughout that whole thing, a large a large part of the reason that he's even part of the story and part of the groups as they move around is, he has to take them through the ways here. He is part of their search, with Rand trying to get to Falma. Is supposed to try and help them get through the ways, which ultimately ends up not happening. And then he's
let,
supposed to take Perrin through the ways and guide him. Like, so the ways and Loyal is a reoccurring thing, and they've completely made that ridiculous. In fact, yeah.
well, let's not forget what also gets established here is Moraine now needs to take them to the Eye of the World, and her first thought is, "There's an Ogier, and maybe he can help me use the ways, because I definitely don't want to use that traveling Ter Angrial in my fucking bedroom, because that one's reserved for going to Tyr with Swan. So I need to find a completely different way of traveling."
It
Yeah,
does have a
the
sign.
scissor portal.
If we were to
Nice.
go back and look at it again, there is kind of small print on the corner. It says, for muff diving only. So, I mean, she read the instructions, and like, I mean, good on her. I don't typically read instructions because I'm a man, so that's how that works. But good for her. Good for her.
All right.
I,
Well, should
I
we go
think
through
that
the scene, or Zaxx? Go ahead.
well, a couple more things. First of all, I looked closely and I can't see them on his shoes, but I'm looking for the Nike swoosh and the Jordan symbol, and I can't find them anywhere on his boots.
I
Those
think
might
those
be
are.
Reebok pumps.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're Reebok
Oh,
pumps.
so he couldn't even get Jordans for them. He had to get them Reeboks, huh?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
And the other thing
Once more
he,
disrespecting black actors.
and then they're like, we have to have this guy in this show, and he's a big part of the story. But really, his only role, like you guys said, is the ways. But what's really his role is to be a victim of violent crime at the end.
Well, I think also every scene we see him in, he's carrying what appears to be sort of a purse. I'm just assuming that Moraine had him hold that earlier, and she's coming by to collect her purse that he's carrying.
Wait. They don't bring any of the horses into the ways, so you're saying that she picked Loyal not to open the way
Oh,
gate, but to be the pack horse?
Yes.
that's about right. And he
Oh,
always looks
uh,
surprised. He's supposed to be the researched one, the well-read one, and he always looks. His face always looks surprised.
yeah, I mean, he has
that might
been.
just be the makeup, though.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
Those
You
fucking
honor
caterpillars.
All
Lawyer
right.
Moraine Sedai.
Lawyer, son of Arendt, son of Halan, your name sings in my ears.
That was buffering. I didn't pause that.
Okay.
you know.
Moraine Sedai.
For 10 seconds, I don't really have a complaint
You
about
must
this
forgive the
dialogue.
abruptness of my message.
I will say I was surprised to receive it, and the haste at which.
What? Like, they physically met in the same room earlier. What do you mean message? Like, she just, they saw each other when she was, healing Matt. Did he? Okay. Am I the
Maybe
only
it's-
one that has an issue with this? I can keep playing.
Maybe they
I'm
met on Tinder.
assuming I'm
earlier.
assuming there was a day that passed, but I wish I could
She's wearing the
confirm
same
this based on their
clothes.
yes, based on their clothes.
There was a day
I'm
that
glad
passed,
Lady
right?
Bellfire has ruined all of us for this. Like,
Yeah, like clothes watch. We have horse watch. We have clothes watch. In Rings of Power, we have knife watch.
Fingerless gloves watch.
horse watch.
Yeah.
Very important.
Encouraged to respond, even for a human.
It is a failing of our kind, I do admit. But the wheel has been opened for the crisis. And at the same time, perhaps
That was such a fake smile.
I don't. It looks intentional. It almost looks like she's lying to try and trick him or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man.
a way to surmount it. But I'll need your help.
Why?
Man, he looks awful. Okay, do you guys think that's I think that's more like computer like that they didn't build that. That's more of the like
no, it's
cartoony
absolutely
sort of,
CGI.
computer, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
really bad when you pause it, to be completely honest. Like
And
it
not
looks
just
bad when
as
it's
an OSHA
moving.
safety inspector, right, Pips?
Yeah, it's got some Xbox 360 vibes to it.
There are no railings
it's bad.
whatsoever.
I will say yes, that all of those should have railings. They would be getting a massive fine that would be reassessed every single day until they fix the discrepancy. The White Tower would be bankrupt just after a single OSHA visit here. I mean, it's crazy.
I
I'm
also
so
like how they
surprised
have
that-
windows that are very clearly supposed to be showing sun coming in, but the dimensions of the inside clearly don't match the outside. Like the outside looks huge, the inside is tiny. There's sunlight coming in on all the windows all the way around. So this doesn't even match up to the model they built for the exterior.
Why did it
Yeah.
take Steppen so long to kill himself when he had like every opportunity just to like fall off a ledge somewhere? Like inside the tower and out. Like
Could have just tripped and fallen to his death on literally anything. So we talked about the White Tower before, how they scaled up the model because Rafe said that it was too small, right?
Uh-huh.
So maybe that's part of it, that like they forgot to make the interior match the exterior. But I think really it's just it would have cost more of their hookers and blow budget, and they figured that nobody would notice that it's yeah.
Yep.
It's just repeating. They've just done this. It's just a repeating scene. That's all it is.
Yeah. They do keep reusing these like pan shots, and like the overhead
Mhm.
shot was in some of the trailers.
Welcome to the Hall of
Is all of
Fame.
it.
Yeah, they think it looks great and
Funny,
it
I wore
doesn't.
exactly the
It's
same
like
expression
somebody
when I
telling the
was
same
born.
unfunny joke over and over again.
Is
And anything in this room gets you copyright claimed. Any video I put up that involves this one space, for whatever reason, they're super sensitive about.
So
why would they be?
yeah, that is kind of true. They're very sensitive how terrible it looks, but also, so she's sitting here trying to describe how like in awe Egwene is of this room, which like, I mean, to be completely honest, if you were standing physically in this space and you were from a small village somewhere, like yeah, you'd probably think it's pretty good. So like, whatever. But why is she looking at the very clearly giant sort of throne chair and is like, is that the Amerlin seat?
I'm-
Yes.
I'm going to tell you why they have to do that. And it is because they think that you are literally retarded. Because they are going to have a set of lines here so mind-bogglingly infantilizing that I couldn't believe it when I read it. She is literally
Yeah.
going to say the Amerlin seat itself, and then she's going to say something like, but I thought the Amerlin seat was a person. Doesn't that get confusing? Like, hey audience, just in case you get confused, both the person and the seat are the same thing. I saw
Nice.
this and I practically did a spit take. I was so bothered by it.
Nice. All right. Well, let's see it. Because yeah, I mean, I think I'd forgotten about that until you said it.
Isn't that confusing
Oh,
to have
fuck.
the woman and the throne name the same thing?
Feel free to.
Oh
No,
man.
Egwene, you see, because in English we use pronouns.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Easy.
whoa, 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 whoa.
The
This
Amerlin seat says that we need to go do this. Are you referring to the person or the chair?
Yeah, the chair. The chair said, man,
The
we can't be
Amerlin
talking
seat
about
feels a
pronouns. We're
little
gonna get
hard.
canceled so
Maybe it needs a
fast.
cushion.
This is one of the examples of what's been happening, and Wheel of Time was maybe one of the worst for this, where everything the characters are saying, they're saying to us. They're not actually talking to each other. There's no conversation. They're just explaining and telling us what to think. That's what the dialogue is mostly for. Not for character building or interactions with them or relationships. It's just audience needs to know this.
I gotta wonder if the writer himself or herself or itself was confused
Oh,
when reading
probably.
the source material and then felt this is a dig or that this is something that I need to basically highlight. That when I was first reading this series, I found it confusing that the Amerlin seat was both a person and a thing.
I think that
So
it's funny that you think that the writers read the source material.
Yes.
yeah,
This is
I
actually the
keep
sort
making
of
that
thing that you
mistake.
would.
Oh, fuck.
Right, this is the sort of thing you would find confusing only if somebody else was relaying the information to you secondhand, right?
Yes. It's like, yeah, so
Also,
there's this lady, the Amerlin seat. She sits on the Amerlin seat, and then you'd be like, wait a second, isn't that confusing? I agree with
they're
you. I think it
they're
was
lore
Zaxx was
expert.
saying this. This scene would make more sense if she like glanced over directly at the camera and was like, isn't that confusing?
So this writer did
Uh,
not read the series. They just got a confusing answer from their lore expert, and then they wrote themselves a nice little joke. Fuck off, show.
To ask her. The Amelin seat has requested an audience with you. But first, there's someone else who wants to see you.
I was kind of
okay.
expecting Egwene to quit back.
Can we just
How does a
can we
chair
just
request an audience?
Can we just talk about two things here? One, so I called it out in our last rewatch because I was so annoyed by it, so I kept putting little circles around it. If anyone spotted those, the earring. So not only is she wearing the same dress, but she's wearing the same earring. And there was a scene in her sort of like love hut thing with Swan where it's like she took her earring off, but then had the earring on, and then has the same earring the next day. But the other thing I want to bring up is who has ever had a conversation with another person when you're alone in a room and done a slow circle walking around them while you're talking to them? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, these are not real people at all.
You could have the camera pan around the room. Like you could like why does she need to walk and have the camera follow her? It's absolutely ridiculous.
Why does
shoulder
this- why does
shoulder
this
watch.
need
Are
to
her
be
shoulders
happening?
swaying back and forth?
She was earlier when she strutted away from Leandrin. She did a good, she did like a lean back and strut. Like it was there.
That might be the reason. Sorry, Alex, for interrupting.
I guess my question was going to be, why are we having this scene?
I mean,
And
why
what-
are we having this show? We've already talked about
Yeah.
how every scene they delete makes the show better. They should have deleted all of them. They should have freaking Batgirled this whole fucking show.
I guess I'm just baffled. If they had just Moraine showed up in Swan's office with Egwene and Nynaeve, I think we all would have just sort of understood, Moraine's stated goal was to bring these two to the White Tower. She is completing her goal. Nothing else needed to happen here.
Well,
That's
I
a
guess
good point.
actually that sort of answers the question by asking it then, because you're right. There's no real purpose to be having this conversation. She could have just gone back, grabbed Egwene, and said, the Amerlin wants to see you two, and walked her in, or just showed up with them, and we would have inferred that, like, well, why would Moraine bring these two girls? Probably because either she wants to bring them or the Amerlin asked. It doesn't really matter to the story which one. So the only thing that this scene is doing is it's showing us another look at this set that they're so damn proud of for
That's
no
what it
damn
is.
reason.
We
And
spent
that's
so much on this that we're going to show it to you again and again and again and again.
Yep,
And
which is
yeah.
why they had her walk around in a circle and why they had the camera pan. Like it was all
Maybe they realized they're having too many scenes in the same room in the same hallway, and they just needed the.
We get 4 sets. We need to use them all relatively equally.
Otherwise, people are gonna think this sucks. Oh, fuck.
Make it look expensive, guys. Come on.
Yeah. What were you gonna say before that, Zax? Though.
Oh, I was gonna say that it's the same problem that started in the first episode before the opening credits, where she's talking to Lan and watching Leandra instill this guy and do nothing, but yet she explains their entire quest to him like he wouldn't know. Like Lan's been there the entire time. There's no reason to tell him this stuff, and well, he can say, "Well, they have the right. He's roughly the right age." Like you guys have not talked about this beforehand at all. You have to talk about this now and then slowly get on your horse and wander away. Same idea. It started then and it's gone through the entire show.
I mean, I really hope that we talked about that, but that's a good point. Whether or not we did, how? Yeah, she treats Lan like he's some stupid lapdog instead of
Yeah.
like her partner for the last 20 years.
If you've
I've said this, I will always give a show or a book kind of a prologue pass because writing good
Oh, God.
dialogue to sort of immerse is tough, but you get that for one scene and then it's go time. So actually she probably shouldn't get a pass for that because they used their prologue pass on her getting dressed. So never mind.
They-
Continue.
and to me, as to someone who works in my field, with law enforcement, if you have a partner, you guys don't have to explain things to each other all the time. You're used to, you know what that person thinks. You've had that conversation before. You know why you're there. You just get on your horse and get riding.
Yeah, there's a lot of implicit communication, a lot of sort of like shared kind of, situational understanding where like you both kind of know what the other one's thinking because again, you've been basically living and working together for, in this case, 20 years. So
Oh, and Moraine and Lan have a fucking magical bond.
yeah, they
Yes,
can
that's-
feel each other's emotions.
that was my next point was, and this is a world where that exists. And what you're showing the audience right away is these guys hardly know each other when it's the opposite.
Yeah, imagine if you and your partner, out on the job could like literally like physically and emotionally like feel each other's thoughts, not like words, but like you could get a pretty good sense of them. And like you guys are able to do that implicitly even without that. I mean, this is They completely whiff on showing the actual substance of the water bond.
They could have even had it be internal monologue on her part, if they want to do that.
Mm.
The
Wouldn't
explanation
make the
stuff.
show worse, or would it?
I know it wouldn't.
All right.
No.
Anyways, I'm done with that. I'll leave it.
Yeah, we've gone far afield. Hey, Egwene shifted to a different spot while we were panned away.
You're the most powerful one ever.
She didn't tell Egwene that Nynaeve was alive until now for the extra drama.
And she hasn't told about Rand or Matt either.
I thought you were dead from the Trolloc attack, and Moraine. What is Moraine fucking Jerry Springer? What the hell?
We're going to see that yes, she is, because apparently at no point does she tell any of them that the others are alive.
Oh man, this is ridiculous.
And no one is like, "Wait a minute, you bitch! You had these guys held all along and didn't think to tell us." Like,
I've been worried sick for days.
months.
And she still hasn't told Egwene that Rand and Matt are alive. I don't think that comes up here.
Can you guys imagine real world this happening? Like one of your closest friends is supposedly dead, and someone else you're with knows they're not dead and just doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
Surprise, he's alive. Fuck you.
Like seriously.
So did the troll that took me. What are you doing here?
There's much to catch up on, I know. But Yamelin's expecting us.
Let her wait.
Swan Sunshine waits for only one woman.
Yep.
Fuck you.
And it's
Look at those damn shoulder swings.
Shoulder
She is
runs.
into it.
So that was the point of it, and Moraine is interjecting right there, being like, "Don't tell Egwene that Rand and Matt are alive. Like, you don't
Okay.
have time to catch up. It's time to go talk to Burlap Sack Lady."
Okay, so I just want to bring up this scene right here. Is this Moraine's room with furniture brought in?
Yeah,
Yes.
but consistently,
Yep.
you see she has a
You're right.
traveling ter'angreal also,
Yes.
right? So they
Which is
both have
open
one.
right now. So I would have thought. I guess the lights on. Like the
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 porch
the
light's
porch
on.
light is on. Yeah. Um, but I think also, and someone will have to maybe we'll have to go back and look for this shot. Remember when Lan came to Moraine after Steppen like melted his ring down and he like knelt and she like held his head. Remember that? Remember that stupid ass scene?
Yeah, it
Mhm.
might be the same chair, but here they got 2 of them.
Exactly. I think she might have used the furniture and stuff like that that is currently the Amerlin's room. I think that might have been in that scene. It certainly
you're
isn't
right.
in Moraine's room when we've seen Moraine's room in other times where it had like no furniture, right?
Mm.
Anyway,
How much would it suck to be like one of the production group people whose job is to actually how awesome would it be to be one of the production group people whose only job is to move this furniture around? They must have had the easiest job in the world. There's only like 5 pieces of furniture in this entire show.
yeah, I mean,
At least there's not Steppen's daggers, but we haven't seen the whole room yet.
Oh no,
Yeah.
there it is. There's the sex ter'angreal above
Yeah,
the
yeah.
What?
above
yeah,
the
yeah,
fireplace.
we've seen
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
seen that.
Oh,
We've
okay.
seen
But
that.
that's logical, right? They're both supposed to have one because that's how they
Yes,
meet in tier, apparently.
Yeah,
and
they got to be accurate about something.
I'm really gonna have to look for this other shot of him like kneeling next to Moraine because I really feel like it's the same scene. But we'll move on.
I think it'd be fun if you're the set guy to slowly steal chairs from the show, and then have them notice over time and go, where's those chairs? Go, what
The, pro-
chairs?
the problem with that is that they would notice immediately because you can't steal 50% of the chairs in a set and have no one notice.
But that's why it's funny. Gaslighting.
All right, so
I
Nynaeve
brought
is
a
wearing
lawn
the
chair,
same.
guys.
Just replace it.
Yeah.
So Nynaeve is wearing the exact same clothing she's worn the entire time.
Yep.
Egwene is wearing the exact same clothing she's worn the entire time. And Moraine is wearing the exact same clothing that she's worn the entire time.
Well, since she got to the tower and had to reinforce her shoulders.
Yes, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But we do get one costume change in this scene. And man, do I wish that they had just stuck with the everyone wears the same clothes forever.
Right. Either be
Yeah.
a Nickelodeon cartoon or don't.
This is like some fashion show bullshit where it's like they
Oh,
like
God.
someone's strutting down the runway and you're like, that's not real clothes. Like no one wears that.
We went and got the ugliest piece of clothing we could find.
She's the newest model for Derelict.
Well, she was at risk of being semi-attractive. They had to fix that.
Yeah, you can't have any of that in this show. That is a good
Nope.
point.
Nothing. Wheel of Sixes, it's called.
All right, that right there.
Subtext.
Credit where credit is due. Nynaeve not bowing to the Amerlin is the, I think, first time that Nynaeve has acted like Nynaeve in this show. What do you guys think?
I agree. And if they'd stopped it here instead of continuing with the sort of petulant disrespect, I might have I would agree. But there's like 3 or 4 other ones that are all going to come up here in rapid succession that are just going to be like,
Yeah.
okay, we get it. You're a disrespectful bitch. Let's go.
It's like one,
Well,
one
I
step
mean-
forward, 3 steps back.
book
The dialogue
book
coming through is
Nynaeve.
awful.
Yeah, I mean, book Nynaeve at this point in the story, and for a while after this point in the story, kind of is a petulant bitch.
Yeah. But at some point, it becomes so over the top that Sawan would almost be forced into doing something.
Which he does in the story, right?
Yeah,
in the
she
riverboat
throws
going down.
throws her against the wall with the power.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the other way around. I have that backwards, right? She
Yeah,
holds
yeah,
her down.
yeah, She wraps her up in air. Nynaeve gets angry and is able to fight back. So it's
Yeah.
a cool scene, but
It is a good scene.
she also doesn't say blow smoke up her ass.
We were getting there, yeah.
I'm the eminent seat. But today, you can call
Wait,
me
hold on. Pause it. How can you be chair and a person at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of surprised Egwene doesn't just pipe in with a question, being like, "How is that even possible? How
I
can you be a
I
chair?"
would love that so much if they did that on the show. Every single time she says it, if someone asks her about it.
If right now Egwene just looked over at the camera and said, "Are you confused? I'm confused."
Yes.
Fucking She-Hulk fourth wall break. Yeah, that would
Uh,
have been good.
then like a
Uh,
little bass riff or something as soundtrack.
yeah. Uh, why are you so awkward, bud?
Don't know. This is very. Am I
I
not
was
what
ex-
you expected?
I was expecting a
What?
chair.
Who talks like that? Like, no, I was
uh,
kind of expecting like a middle-aged woman who's kind of, overbearing and bitchy. Like, actually, you're exactly what I expected. Ethnically ambiguous as well. Man, we just
just hitting all the boxes.
pulled it right off of the check sheet.
Yeah,
And,
that's a
and
good point.
dressed
What does
down
she
to make
mean
her
by
look
that?
uglier than she is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the most powerful
Uh,
channeler we've seen in.
This is where they have to re-explain that to everyone every single time she's on the screen.
Well,
Then you must have very low standards.
True.
Stop being a jerk.
bitch.
And you, Egwene Alvir,
He's got now a
your
resting bitch
bravery and
face.
spark brought
And Eve
great
stands like a
ruins
dude.
of my fallen daughter's home.
Yeah.
I thank you.
So, what did you guys think about Egwene doing the like kind of jealousy when they mentioned how powerful Nynaeve was? Did you? I mean, I'm assuming you guys caught that. Like, what did you
Yeah.
guys
Oh,
have any
yeah.
thoughts about that
She
characterization?
looks over, or I'm not sure. Jealousy. I didn't catch jealousy. I caught like surprise. Like Egwene expected that the praise should be being showered down upon her, not Nynaeve. But
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I can give it to them on the basis that you know we're not giving them anything else.
I mean, I just thought that that it was a surprising bit of characterization given the direction they're taking the character of Egwene. I would have thought that the story, so the book accurate Egwene is kind of an ambitious bitch, and them like that little like expression sort of starts to kind of establish that in her character, and nothing we've seen so far is anything other than her being the kindest, gentlest, smartest, most gracious, most awesome character ever. uh I was, so when that happened, I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, like they are actually potentially going to have her have a flaw. Unfortunately, it gets completely undermined in the
Yeah,
next two episodes of the show.
it could honestly
um
just be
I was
bad
going to say,
direction. They told her to basically look surprised because you don't know that Nynaeve can channel.
Yeah.
the actor just accidentally acted correctly.
Yeah, that's what I legitimately think it is. It's either our bias that like
Yeah.
we're looking for Egwene to act jealous, and she's just acting surprised, and we're giving the show the benefit of the doubt.
Which we shouldn't do.
All right. Well,
Well,
let it never be said that the White Cloaks don't give the show the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, we try so hard at
try.
times. We're
she has
scraping the bottom of this barrel.
she only has two moves. She has the one where she's like this, the long face, and then she has the crossed arms. That's her other look too.
Well, I mean, I would say, crossed arms beneath her breasts, but the show tries its fucking damnedest to make sure that none of those appear in this film.
Oh yeah, and because of what they're doing in those scenes is zooming in on Rand's tears.
I'm just saying, like, right, like every woman that's in this shot right now, if you told me that they were like they had chest wrapping to make themselves look like less effeminate, I would be like, yeah, I believe that.
Fucking compression shorts.
And smoke up our ass. Why don't you tell us what you want?
Fuck off. No, that line just offends me. Just it's just so out of world. Who blows smoke up people's asses in wartime? Like how is that an expression? I'm
Uh,
gonna
good-
look
good
up
point.
where that thing kind of comes up. It's like you don't say ass, you don't blow smoke like that.
Yeah, I've
Fuck
heard
It's-
me, this
blowing
sounds like there's-
smoke, like blustering or lying. I'm not sure. I've heard shove it up your ass, but why are we combining analogies?
I would say I know the expression "blow smoke up your ass." Like I know that expression, but not in Wheel of Time, right? Like so. This
Alright.
I'll put this in the what is it? Piss in your mouth and tell you it's raining or whatever the hell
Yeah, that's
the thing from
disgusting.
episode 1 was. And we were like, okay, it should be piss on your leg and tell you it's raining or something like that, right? And they just made it grosser than even the saying kind of is the expression. Um, I'm trying to think. There's a couple other ones where like the show just gets needlessly kind of blue in its language. And what offended me about this though is that Nynaeve is the person who we know would have gone after all of the other characters for swearing. And like that's a
very,
part of
very
her
good point.
that's a part of her character, that she is the one that like goes after Matt and like goes after the other people for like
Yeah,
you
she's the
know
language police. right?
exactly. She is kind of like your grandmother who makes you like wash your mouth out with soap. And to have her use this kind of language again just shows a fundamental lack of understanding of the character, which we already know they've robbed her character of most of its arc and value. So anyway, it's
Well,
yeah.
I just looked up the origin of the term "blowing smoke up your ass," and it was arguably more painful to read than the show. So let's move on from this because
I don't hate the freeze frame though for Nynaeve. It's a good look for her.
She literally looks like she's about to say, "Well, actually."
I want to speak to the manager.
What is this, Galadriel?
And Egwene has got a
Mm.
pretty decent resting bitch face over there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess she looks pretty pissed. So
Really, you got pissed? I looked at conniving faux submissive.
okay. Oh, bitch! You said that though, right? You said that. I looked into the windows of her soul.
I know what it is to feel you deserve something different than what this life gives you. I wonder why you couldn't just stay at home, love the people you love, grow old with them, protect them, support them, threads weaving in and out of the pattern without.
Because your
I can't
dad
tell, is
fucking
she
sent you up
mocking
the
them?
river. Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waiting
Also,
for the
wow,
punchline.
you really did not need to show her getting sent up the river to justify this scene. Like,
No.
ugh.
And the reason they had to send her upriver, one reason is because she can't help herself, but to use the weave to fix a rope or tie a knot, and if she just
Untie,
could
yeah.
keep it untied, keep it on the DL a little bit, but when you're doing that shit in public, of course you got to go now. It's
So
your
she
own
didn't
fault.
because
do
everyone's
it in
TV.
public. There was nobody around. Like,
You couldn't
for
keep it in her
whatever reason-
pants.
Yeah, for whatever reason, this show just, at least in this episode, seems to think that everybody in the world knows what happened in private. Like
Oh,
they're
that's
the
true, yeah.
guards in Oblivion. Like we talked earlier about them. What was it? Them berating Moraine for destroying the Terran ferry. Like, what?
Yeah.
But either way, regardless, we bitched about that in its
All
time.
right.
The two of you have been called to greatness. The fate of all of us rests on you now.
Fuck off,
The
show.
decisions you make become ingrained,
Because one of you is the dragon.
and the strength you find within.
Don't talk to me like you know me. We want no part of this.
So
What the
you
fuck
were
is this?
so you were being completely disrespectful and we're gonna fucking leave, and then she raises her hand and you're just like
I better stop.
Also, I am fascinated by the implications here. Swan felt it was worth talking to Nynaeve and Egwene, but didn't feel like Rand, Perrin, and Matt were worth saying hi to. Like, didn't even want to feel them out. Like, they just aren't worth fuck.
Yes.
Well, maybe they didn't want to bring them to the tower,
You know
but
what? You know what's actually
you could.
interesting? The point that
The
Alex
mountain
brings
could
up,
come to
right?
Muhammad.
So the point that you bring up, right, is in the books. Who does she want to talk with? Right? In the Great
Rand.
Hunt. In the Great Hunt, who does she talk with? She talks to Rand specifically, but doesn't she try and talk with all three of the Taviran?
I think she does talk to all of them.
It's
You
just
mean
The
off
only one
five?
that
camera.
appears,
5
Yeah, so
Taviran?
Rand is the
yeah,
only
that's
POV that we
Zaxx.
get, right?
No.
But
Um,
Egwene and Nynaeve get plenty of interaction with the Amerlin on the boat back.
yes.
So, but Swan explicitly comes up to Shinar to speak with Rand, and then
Yes.
because she can see Taviran, and Moraine knows that too. So Rand and Matt and Perrin also get a little interview, but you never learn
You,
kind of what
you
she
know what's
says to them.
funny about the point that you just made about her being able to see Taviran? Wouldn't this have been a good opportunity if they were going with the 5 Taviran bullshit to introduce what the fuck a Taviran is, and also that
Oh my
Swan can see
god.
them? Like she could
Fuck.
just, after she meets them, she could just say like
Was
instead of the
for
stupid
something to Moraine being
conversation.
like they glow, right?
Yeah, instead of the stupid conversation that Moraine had with Egwene with them beforehand, right? Take that time and have it after they leave, Swan talking with Moraine and being like, those are the two of the most strongly Taviran people that I've ever seen. And like, you could have introduced exactly what the hell that is. This show literally like just walks right past opportunities to introduce concepts from the lore. And then when there are other opportunities, they just shit all over them. Like,
Yeah. They
ugh,
also, not only do they not tell us about it, they don't even show us the effects that they're having.
no.
Nothing. Like we, as an audience, we're not asking that question, which we should be, because weird things should be happening, but they're not.
Yeah, I think General Matt from the Discord asked some people on some of the bigger Reddit forums, and just said like, hey, somebody who's watched the show and hasn't read the books, try to like tell me what you think of these questions. And one of the questions was like, what is a Taviran? And the answer was basically like, yeah, what is a Taviran? Like I totally forgot that the show even mentioned that there was a Taviran. Like you asked me what a Taviran is, and I ask you, like,
The
is
main
that in the show?
character. Wow.
It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
The wheel does not care if you are young or afraid, petty or weak.
She's got worse resting bitch face than Egwene does.
True.
The wheel calls you to this, whether you can
What?
bear it or not.
Oh, the pain.
The last battle is coming.
So is that when you kind of yeet the Dragon Reborn untrained at the Dark One? Is that the last battle? Is the last battle when they have like this weird wall that's facing the wrong direction, and
Oh my god.
the
Well,
Ah,
and let's just not forget, like, this is being told to Egwene and Nynaeve,
yes,
and not the Dragon Reborn.
yes,
Oh God. God, 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 God.
I like that she kind of looked at Egwene when she said
This
weak.
now is
That was cute.
there
the
was.
Nice touch.
The only thing that matters is what you do.
What emotion is she supposed to be expressing right now? Like she's
No.
not angry that they disrespected her. She's not condescending. She's not like I
I think
honestly
she's trying to
I honestly
express
don't know.
foreboding.
She's generally supposed to be a wise and ethereal woman, as I think what they're going for. But I just think it's so bizarre considering Swan's, well patterned history of appreciating people being disrespectful to her.
Yeah, it just seems like this is not this is just not Swan, right? It's not even like it's discount Swan or whatever, right? Like actual Swan would have, you know, she would have I think she would have been talking a lot faster than this. She would have been like kind of steamrolling over top of him a little bit, and she would have been throwing out sort of like fisherman kind of terminology about like we're all on the boat together. So when I say cast your line, you cast your line, you know, like some silly, you know, whatever, right?
Yep.
She would have thrown
There's
out
only
something
one
about fish
captain on a
guts.
ship.
Yes,
Right? One
exactly. Like,
captain, do what I say. Everybody has a role to play.
yeah.
When the storm's coming, you bail what you can, kind of.
Yeah, like they're like, so her style of speaking just doesn't match this. Like whoever wrote this again did not read the source material. You can't read a Swan sort of like chapter or like her talking in somebody else's POV. You can't read that once and then come up with this dialogue. It's just completely wrong. And I get it that they ruined the idea that she's like a poor girl who grew up in the mall and like, you know, did fishing with her family and stuff, because instead she's a little orphan girl with her sort of like river canoe. But like,
It certainly didn't stop them from dropping all sorts of like fish puns, and wasn't she fixing a fishing net at one point? So it's almost worse than that. It's like
She was in the
actually,
love hut.
yeah, she was fixing a fishing net in the love hut, so,
which is either
anyway,
a dream net or
by the way, I'm motioning to refer to that as the Love Shack from now on. As much as I like the Love Hut, I think the Love
Love
Shack
Shack?
is
Yeah.
Alright.
is
There's a
Um,
song by the Bangles about that, isn't there?
seconded.
Yes.
Love
Well-
Shack seconded.
Yep.
Not only that, I did a video about that using Love Shack.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Even
I
Yeah,
did.
done.
There's
uh,
so much that Zaxx did that kind of entered into our ether without us knowing it, because we have a drinking problem.
That is-
You
I was
brought it
thinking
up
that
earlier,
when-
but the Benny Hill stuff,
Yeah.
Zaxx is 100% right. He was the first one to see that. I probably saw that on the subreddit. I probably internalized it, memory hold it, forgot about it because of alcohol actually does some brain damage to you. You drink the amount that I do.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But you
Um,
forget about it.
But then we tried to do it again, and it's just like, oh fuck, yeah, damn it, we're not
Yeah,
original.
We
I don't
we
care.
did
Go for
do
it.
we did do a Benny Hill sort of one as well. And yeah, it was I think fairly recently someone brought up like, oh yeah, Zaxx did that, and I was like,
You
yes,
should take
damn
it
it.
down. Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do?
Shut up, Egwene.
I feel like there's fairly competent lighting in this shot. So like,
Okay, wait. Subtext here.
oh, she's gonna
So-
jump off.
We hope.
God, we hope.
But Egwene asks, so what do we need to do? And then the Amerlin turns to Moraine. I'm gonna do Moraine again tonight. That's what she's thinking.
So,
Mm.
what do you guys think of
Maybe.
this Ogier masonry?
Sucks.
Yeah, it does. I feel like this is the first time that we just saw a close up of the exterior of the tower, and like, yeah,
What
That-
is that behind her? Like, so there's
the
the
weird
grate,
screen thing.
you
Yeah,
got the weird screen, but then in the middle behind her, is that a hallway supposedly there, or is that just like a wall?
It looks like a chute. Like she slid down a chute.
yeah. You know, like in GoldenEye, in like the PvP kind of GoldenEye maps, where you could like just fall, like drop down a level and like
Yes.
run in sort of like a little sub hallway or whatever. Yeah, that's what that is. That opens up to the floor above, and so if you're getting shot at and you need to escape, you fall down here, and then you can ambush the guy who follows after you. That's kind of what's happening.
Definitely some styrofoam pillars there.
Yeah. A couple pillars behind her. Oh, a door. There's a door back there. Okay.
Okay, so it's just the angle.
Is this the same place that Loyal was standing? I think it is.
I think
It
so,
has to
too.
be.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so that's the door
Uh,
that she barged into, and Loyal was standing where she's standing now, sort of. So is this? They added one set, guys. We're up to 5. We're up to 5 sets.
Gotta show it off. What? Yeah, and why is she up here? So
This
Yeah.
is where everybody goes to think.
Hey, she's got her head thing on again.
see, costume change.
Do,
But she's
do you
missing-
guys?
She's missing the dangling earrings.
That's
she
true.
has
She's
the
still
gold
got
one on
the
the side.
exactly. Do you guys think that they like filmed this over like 3 or 4 days and they just like kept forgetting which like costume jewelry that she was supposed to have? And then when
Yes.
they spliced it all together, it's just out of order. And they were just like, ah, shit. Like that day, that item didn't get picked up from the freaking prop tray. And so she just didn't have it on.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I think they probably filmed this entire episode over like an 8-day period. And then they just between days, some days she was wearing the earrings and some days she wasn't.
Man.
Like, yeah, the headdress is, they probably shot this one the same day they shot the big
Bowing scene?
scene of her of her bowing.
Yeah. Not the
This is
same
their
scene that she was walking around in Tarvalon going to go find Matt, though, because she didn't have it then.
this is their good writing though. This is what they do they establish a scene by having a person standing alone in a room for no reason looking at nothing. And then
It's literally all of these characters are NPCs who fucking spawned somewhere. Like it's
Yes.
just
like if Lan doesn't show up here, does she just stand there staring for an hour? Like, what is this for? What is she doing?
oh man.
Hey,
Yeah,
remember who the main character of this whole book is?
Right.
no.
Yeah,
I can't recall. I think he's on some of the covers. I could be wrong.
I'll stand in the hall with you if you want.
Yeah, kind of like a Nicolas Cage looking dude, right?
Sometimes Nick Cage, sometimes not Nick Cage. Are her eyes? Are you gonna cry?
Yep.
Seriously, Eyes to Die Serenity. Are you about to start crying?
But this is her plan. Why is she crying about this? If she's worried she can't come back to the White Tower, so she can't les out with Swan anymore, which
She could just change the plan.
or she could just take that fucking Terangrial off her wall, bring it with her,
That's
scissor
true.
every night. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
God.
They really do accentuate her sort of square jaw in these shots.
Yeet.
I like how her dress is moving, but her hair isn't. So she's just standing on top of the grate, like that Marilyn Monroe shot.
They got the fan off to the side,
Yeah.
but it's aimed low.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And again, I think the shots that we've seen of this before have much more like cliff faces and stuff like that. But this time it's nice and sort of rolling treed hills. So that's good.
Oh,
Unless
no,
we're supposed to believe that the
her hair's
geography.
subtly moving.
Well, now it is.
Good fucking lord. How high is this hall?
Yeah. High. Man. It looks terrible every time, right?
8 levels to a dome, and then all the light is at least coming in through the windows this time.
Well, it's because this isn't a real shot. This is the computer generated shot. They have better lighting in Unreal Engine than they do in.
And Trip makes a fantastic point in the chat, so I just need to co-opt it as my own. But if you're setting up your political chamber and you're kind of, you want to seal things to the hall sometimes, or make sure that, you have secret deliberations and decisions, who the fuck can, this is eavesdrop central, she says.
Mhm.
It would be the
Es-
easiest place to put someone in to listen in. There's like 8 different stories you could sneak up on and
Yep.
hear everything.
Especially with doors opening up on each of those levels, like we see on the left hand side, where like you wouldn't even have to be standing in it. You could just crack the door on one of those higher levels. Yeah, pretty
Now,
terrible.
The show shill would basically say, well, they can just do a weave to mute the conversation. I guess that's true, but this
And
is
we would then ask, well, then where's the weave? And they would say, well, you can't see
they
the
don't need to
weaves.
do this yet. Yeah.
Well, why can't we see the weaves?
I don't want to get too practical on these showrunners here, but could it possibly be for to have all those levels? Where are they going? Is it just a circle, and then you go up to the next level of circle and go around again? There's nothing there.
All right, wait a second. Did the colors
That's
of
a
these fucking,
phenomenal point.
Yeah, so
these oval colors changed?
it's a better look at them than we've seen before, right? And I think what we can maybe say with the close up here, so this now looks to be white, yellow. I suppose we're supposed to think that that is red, although
Yeah.
it's clearly not. And then after that, you have like two
Gray,
shades of sort of gray,
gray,
brown,
green.
green. Yeah, so two shades of like gray, green, brown, and then blue. Yeah,
Still sucks, but
it's
we beat
yeah,
this up to death.
It's better, but still not good.
yeah.
Especially if you're going to dress them like Power Rangers.
Seriously, one of those I think was dressed like a Power Ranger. Look at the one right there on the right. Look at the one on the right and tell me that's not a fucking Power
The
Ranger.
one on the right has got more egregious shoulder pads than Moraine. Holy
Either that or
fuck.
what do you guys think? Actually, the one on the right I think looks like Vegeta or like a Saiyan.
You're 100% right.
She's got the sort of like Saiyan shoulder pads. Is that?
Yep.
Fantastic. I think we might have one more in the Vegeta pads. Yep. Okay. Of the two greens, the one on the right also has the sort of like
Yep.
yeah.
Also
Gosh,
has
that's
the Vegeta
fantastic.
pads.
Fantastic.
I can't get over Swan's like what is it? Her bicep shields. Because I'm assuming they're shields. That's the only reason I can assume they would be so large. But anywho.
Yeah, they're the extra coverage pads.
Close up on that giant ring. Is it missing a gem?
It is not missing a gem. It has a new colored gem in it. It has like a goldish brown kind of gem, like maybe like a tiger's eye or something like that. So they popped the stone out and put a new stone in for the Amerlin. Is I guess what we're supposed to take away from this.
I guess. I just love how shitty the in real life versions are that they've decided to try and sell. Like, I like how they really look exactly as shitty as the ones used in the show. Like, that's attention to detail right there.
I hope that they go the way of like the Riva lightsaber and just nobody buys any of them. But I know there's going to be some idiots online that buy some. Which, hey, I mean, waste your money. I appreciate people burning their own money on their own time. Like, you know, do you. Also, though, a close-up shot of Moraine's mascara. It's a little clumpy.
Yeah, not impressed.
Yeah, not at all impressed. You know, $120 million into the budget here, and they couldn't even get a mascara brush. But, you know, that's fine.
Oh my god.
Okay. First thought that comes to your head, what is she looking at?
Two unattractive lesbians doing foreplay.
No, I've seen this exact face on the streets of San Francisco when you see somebody else looking and you have to look over your shoulder and you realize, oh, that's the face you make when you see a homeless man shitting on the sidewalk.
She looks like a female UFC fighter or something like that to me. This chick.
Dude,
Ronda
this
Rousey.
is an atrocity. She is so fucking hot in real life.
Worst example.
Well, I believe it.
Okay.
I believe it.
Guys,
but
it's afternoon where I am at, so I'm pouring.
Crack that bad boy open.
There you go.
Do it.
Also, green Vegeta confirmed.
Yeah, green Vegeta. Yeah.
There's one per Aja. What the?
Look at
Yeah,
those
look at the
forearm
fucking
shields.
things on the.
Intractability. You are exiled.
Oh, they definitely filmed all this shit on the exact same day, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
what are we supposed to take
Mon
away
Mothma
from the
can't believe
fact? What are we supposed to take
Mon
away from the
Mothma,
fact
yeah.
that literally every single Aes Sedai in this shot is wearing the same clothing they were presumably either yesterday or even the day before yesterday, right? Like,
It's yesterday because they say tomorrow when you
yeah,
punish me or whatever, it must be exile. So you know,
why?
maybe laundry day is next week. I don't know. Or yeah, it's
And they only have
robes, not
one
dresses.
set of clothing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is filmed back to back, like
Oh,
because
I get
everything's the same.
I
Everything's the
get from
same.
a filming perspective, like what happened here. I just don't understand how, again, $120 million show, how did they screw this up? Where like you have a scene with 20, 30 people in it, and you're just like, yeah, whatever, just film the next one. It's like that's like another, like that's tomorrow. That's at least one day from now. Like they can't all be wearing the same thing. How did no one think of that?
Because if you're a showrunner whose only experience doing shows is something like Chuck or doing something, what is the other one that he did?
Agents of
Yeah,
Shield.
Agents
Agents
of
of Shield.
Shield.
Yeah,
Ugh.
stuff that isn't sort of this sequential story. It doesn't matter because Chuck always wears the same white shirt and black tie to go to work. So it doesn't
Right.
matter to you. You're making Nickelodeon characters just real life. I mean that's honestly the what the screw up is. It's just inexperience and incompetence.
Mm.
To ensure your acceptance of this penance,
Not a
you will
penance.
swear
This is
fealty to the judgment
bizarre.
of this seat
Why did
and
she
the
do
sacred oath.
this?
On the
This is
sacred oath rod.
Yeah, give her the
you mean
rod.
the magical oath rod that makes a binding oath, which in the story at least works because they're fucking lying all the time in this show. So
I just
maybe
mean the
that's the
word
secret.
the word sacred. Like
Oh, yeah, but
why what is sacred about the oath rod?
nothing.
These are the Aes Sedai. They know it's just a ter'angreal. Like if random village person were to find one, they might conceivably come up with some superstitious kind of thing about it. This is like them handing you like a chainsaw or like a gas powered implement and being like, oh, the sacred tree trimmer. Like it's not magical, it's a
But
tool that
this is,
works in a very known and understood way. Like,
and we know from the books, and sorry, Zax, this is spoilers for you. So maybe I
I
don't
don't
know if you
care.
want to. Okay,
Nope,
cool.
go.
But remember how big of a fucking deal it is when particular characters start ruminating about applying a fourth oath,
and they
right?
actually foreshadow it
And
pretty far in advance.
personal fealty to the Amerlin. So Egwene gets people swearing to her, and they don't swear on an oath
In a
rod, but
crown of
they
swords.
yeah, and pretty much do a binding oath, right? Because they're bound
And
by not speaking an untrue word.
yep.
But then when Elida is contemplating having actual people like in her fantasy swear a
Mhm.
fourth oath of like loyalty and obedience to the Amerlin seat,
And
fuck,
the Black
that's like
Aja
next.
hunters use
Yeah,
the oath rod for the same purpose.
and yeah, Egwene dresses them down for that because she's a hypocrite. But yeah, holy fucking shit! Like this would not fly in the hall of the tower. Not for what was it? What was her crime? Not telling her where
Yeah,
she was?
that's right. And that what bothered me about that going back an episode is that one of the things that bothered me is that she has all this dirt on Leandrin, including she watched her steal that guy for no reason
Yes.
in the field. And she could have just said,
Yeah.
oh, remember that time I saw you doing that thing you're not supposed to do? And
Zach, this was one of Alex's great insights early on because we know from the fake script or the leak script that that prologue that sucked was a reshoot.
It
So
was not initially scripted. Yeah.
this is
oh,
why there's a consistency issue. When this was filmed, they hadn't yet decided to make a prologue where Moraine had
okay.
this information. And it created a fucking mess, obviously, because you're 100% right. Why didn't she turn around and say, "Well, Leandrin's been going up and down the countryside gentling people. In fact, I
Mhm.
saw her." Like,
And in fact, that's what I was looking. That's why I was out so long. I was following her doing this
Mhm.
and getting evidence for you.
and
Done.
finding the most powerful channeler,
Yeah,
which
which I did.
technically was her mission, and she brought them in. Like, there's so much wrong with this. It's like
Yeah.
These people don't know how to write.
It's also one of the few, if not potentially the only times in the show that channeling occurs and you don't see the weaves, which also indicates that it was a reshoot because they were trying to save the budget. So
Oh,
they're already at the end of the season. They were doing corrective reshoots to try and fix problems that they had with it, but they didn't have the budget yet to do all the CGI. And so they didn't have the the air bending weaves going on in that shot.
okay.
And I think it might be the only time that you don't see the weaves, which is actually problematic because if they just wanted to throw out the idea that people couldn't see the weaves, like, sure, it's lore breaking and is a problem, but they went a step further and they actually introduced the idea that sometimes you can't see the weaves and sometimes you can, which makes it even more confusing to, a non book reader
Right.
audience or to the audience generally.
All right, are they gonna whip out this dildo or what?
Yeah, let's do it. It's rechargeable. That's why it's sacred.
All
I
right,
guess
everybody.
my
Yeah, Alex.
question here is, why is Swan making her swear this oath? Like, and I know the meta reason is they wanted this, this marriage ceremony deal, but
What a fucked up
this
idea
is
for a marriage, by the way.
yeah, like this isn't a Dane, correct me if I'm wrong here. This is not the standard way that banishment and exile is done. Like,
No, a fourth oath would basically be, it's like that almost took down Elida when Egwene revealed that Elida was musing about it. This is in a later book. She's at dinner. It's like, did you or not say that you want Aes Sedai to swear loyalty to you? And the sitters basically round on Elida, being like, "Are you fucking insane? Are you that power hungry?
Yeah.
This would not fly at all.
yeah,
This is so beyond world breaking, and it's not needed because you could just tell her you're banished. Done.
Yeah.
say out loud, "I will never return to the White Tower." Her current oaths will enforce that. So
Yes.
this is just them making problems for themselves. They're trying to portray these characters as brilliant, and yet these characters keep shooting themselves in the foot doing retarded
Yes.
shit.
Yeah,
It's
you're right.
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and maybe this is to establish that they really don't want anyone to think that they're in cahoots. So they need to do something that's this kind of
Ah, but
antagonistic.
Except
the
they've already
wording ruins
done that.
that.
But
Well, yeah.
but
So yeah, Moraine opening her mouth ruins that, and then for whatever reason, everybody in the show has already felt the need to say 9 different times, uh, "Man, the Amerlin seat really hates Moraine. Moraine, are you sure you want to do this? You know how much the Amerlin seat hates you."
Oh my
Like,
Yeah.
god.
they said it no less than 6 times.
and guess what they fucking do? They make her swear a loyalty oath. So if people thought that they weren't working together up to here, well, now they might actually think they're working together because Moraine fucking had to be loyal to Swan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
It is. It is a self-inflicted surgical wound that they only were able to self-inflict doing surgery to try and fix their previously self-inflicted wound. There's levels of retardness here that is just baffling.
yeah, I
Somebody
think
got
this is
paid
another
to
one that's going
write
in the.
this.
This is another one going in the fourth dimension. This is another retard tesseract.
All right. Let's get through it.
Okay, we can do this. Bring out
The
the dildo.
holster, the dildo holster. Yep.
She's not sure how to hold it.
Swear your oath
He is a
Moraine
lesbian.
Is
Sedai,
it ribbed?
Yeah.
before your sisters in this
Oh god. Just the
sacred
ugliest
hall.
fucking like how did-
Ageless, boys.
Ugh.
Ageless.
right,
Wow.
ageless.
Shoulder
And eternally binding.
Just
That looks like it would hurt.
ribbed for her pleasure.
Nah, not necessarily pleasure at all.
It looks closer to a cheese grater.
I do like how little the actress Sis Swan is like barely moving in the seat. It's because she can't move her arms with that stupid ass dress.
Wait, are they
Mm.
are they touching fingers, like
And my
tickling
hope
each other?
of salvation and rebirth.
No.
There we go.
Right there.
I,
Oh.
Moraine Sedai, swear to obey the judgment of the Amelin seat and never return till she calls me home. Or may the Creator's face turn from me.
Gosh, this channeling looks so shitty.
consume my soul.
This is how you break up with someone, though.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Magically, you're compelled
Yeah.
to never see me again.
Yeah.
Of my salvation and rebirth.
Husky breath. What the fuck is
I'm
this?
Maureen Sedan.
Gosh, this soundtrack though is so good though, guys. I can't believe you don't appreciate the music.
She's
Swan,
swearing a different oath.
Stop crying. You're supposed to be acting.
So are we supposed to believe that Swan told Moraine her dad's last words to her?
That
I
does
guess
indeed
so.
appear to be the implication.
Like,
Oh my God.
I don't know how you guys describe childhood stories to like other people. I don't know. Maybe I just have a shit
So
memory.
how'd you hear? Well, my dad called me daughter of the river and then sent me up the river.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Like,
fuck.
Clever as a pike.
it's
Fuck
because
is this?
she's Rosamund Pike, guys. It's meta. It's clever. See, she's clever.
The fish are
Fuck
pretty
off,
fucking
show.
stupid, though.
They are, yep.
That is
I thought
true.
the same
Pikes,
thing.
pikes are actually specifically pretty dumb fish too.
Strong as the tongue.
And never
if
return
you're
to
one of
God.
these Aes Sedai, aren't you sitting here watching this like, what
Yes.
the fuck are you talking about?
Yes.
She's
My
completely
creator's
outed them.
face turn from me.
But this show
Unless she-
acts
unless
like
there
no
she
one
was
can see
speaking-
anything that's happening.
Consume
She was speaking very, very quietly, and now she's speaking loudly.
I mean, even if that's the case, why is
Okay.
she saying twice as many words as Swan was saying? Also, what is
Swan?
what is the point of having them in the room if they can't if they can't hear the oath being said? Also, why would Swan be crying?
Yeah,
This
she's
is
literally
just
got a tear
so
running down her cheek.
Stupid. Like, you can't on one hand tell me that these are good political players and then have them fucking crying as they're trying to pretend that they're ambivalent towards each other. Fucking hell. This scene makes me so angry. This
Yep.
might be my least favorite scene until the
And
last round.
Wow.
There's no one in there who says something like, "What time is lunch?" Like, this is taking forever.
That's just the
I'll say
audience.
it. I'm getting kind of hungry. All right. Shall we get through this and save the turn your back on me? Like, why the fuck are you crying? Now we just turn our back on you?
I could understand
that
her
pause? Like-
crying. I could understand, them saying like, okay, Moraine is upset she's not going to be an Aes Sedai anymore. But Swan can't be doing this shit.
It is done.
All right, I think that's where we end it.
All right. So thanks everybody in chat for hanging out with us and suffering through this at a time where it's finally okay to drink. I'll start probably getting more fun in the next one. But everybody on YouTube, watch out for the next half that we're going to be doing with Zaxx. We're going to wrap up this episode. As we kind of always do, I'm going to throw it to Alex and Pips for final thoughts and then give last word to Zaxx about this section of the rewatch. Gents? Alex?
I think I've said my piece. This shit
Okay.
sucks. This script is retarded. Everybody involved in this should be fired.
Pips?
All I want to say is, I guess that we just watched another 5-10 minutes or so of just actors talking to other actors, just women talking to women, is literally the entirety of this show that we've seen so far. I guess the only positive thing you can say is that they definitely passed the Bechdel test. I wish that the male characters could have a similar amount of dialogue and character development. Man, this was bad.
What does it say about women in politics when this is the type of politics you get when it's only women? I'm sorry.
Well,
Non sequitur.
Yeah.
We yeah. I was gonna say, do we want to explore that question?
No,
Because man,
no,
I have
no.
thoughts.
We're approaching
Separate
the end
discussion.
here. We're trying to
Zaxx.
not get Zaxx canceled in Canada. So
Sure enough.
Yeah,
Zaxx, over to
true.
you, bud.
All right,
Trudeau
so-
is listening, Zaxx.
He's always listening. He's probably at my door. So the thing about this is there's no story that I could tell that was being pushed forward. The dialogue was corny and the acting was poor. But on the bright side, they did lots of grand entrances to rooms in their new outfits. It's kind of like if you know what, in movies you have that one scene when the princess walks into the room and everyone turns their head. That's what the entirety of this episode has been. In your mind, you're gonna walk in the room and everyone's gonna go, "Oh my God, look at her." It's
Like
There's nothing
episode
else
There's
to
no
one,
it.
like episode one,
there's
where
no one in
Egwene
the
walked
White
into
Tower
the
to
inn.
clap, unlike the wine spring.
Yeah, yes, yes. There should be a slow clap at some point too. We don't get that. No payoff even on that.
Hmm. Terrible.
All right. Many thanks, everybody on YouTube. The next section will drop in a couple of days. In the meantime, please like, please comment, please subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you like. And I guess we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah. Thanks again, Zaxx, and everybody, walk in the light.